Hello, beloved one. I'm so glad you're here tonight. I know you're tired, so very tired. Not just the kind of tired that sleep can fix, but that deep weariness that settles into your bones when life feels too heavy, too uncertain, too much. Maybe you've been carrying burdens that weren't meant for your shoulders. Maybe you've been fighting battles that seem endless, working so hard just to keep your head above water. Maybe tonight, like so many nights before, your mind is racing with worries about tomorrow, about provision, about whether you're enough, whether you're loved, whether you matter. I want you to know something right now. Before we go any further, you are not alone in this place. God sees you here, in this moment, with all your exhaustion and all your questions. He sees the tears you've cried in the darkness, the prayers you've whispered when you thought no one was listening, the way you've been holding everything together, even when you're falling apart inside. He sees the bills that keep you awake at night, the relationships that drain your energy, the dreams that feel impossibly far away. He sees the mask you wear during the day, the smile you force when people ask how you're doing, the weight of pretending everything is fine when it's not. Tonight, you don't have to be strong. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to carry another thing. Tonight, you can simply rest in the truth that you are deeply, completely, unconditionally loved by the God who created you, who knows your name, who counts every tear and treasures every prayer. This isn't about religious performance or spiritual perfection. This is about a father who sees his child struggling and wants nothing more than to provide rest, peace, and comfort. As you settle into this space, let your body begin to release the tension it's been holding. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Let your jaw soften and your tongue rest gently in your mouth. Let your breathing slow and deepen, filling your belly with each inhale, releasing worry with each exhale. You're safe here. You're held here. You're home. The rain you're hearing isn't just water falling from the sky. It's the sound of heaven's abundance, waiting to pour into your life. It's the sound of God's provision, His protection, His peace washing over you like a gentle tide. Let it wash away the stress of today. Let it cleanse your mind of tomorrow's worries. Let it remind you that the same God who waters the earth with rain is the same God who wants to water your dry places with His love. There's something I want to share with you. Something God whispered to my heart when I was in a season much like yours might be now. I was lying awake one night, staring at the ceiling, my mind spinning with financial stress, relationship struggles, and this crushing feeling that I was failing at everything that mattered. The bills were piling up, the deadlines were looming, and I felt like I was drowning in a sea of responsibilities. I couldn't manage. Everyone else seemed to have it together while I was barely keeping my head above water. I felt forgotten by God, overlooked, like He was blessing everyone else while I was being left behind. That's when I heard these words, not audibly, but so clearly in my spirit that they felt like a lifeline being thrown to a drowning person. Truly, my soul finds rest in God. My salvation comes from Him. Truly, He is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will never be shaken. Maybe you've read these words before, but tonight, let them sink deeper than they ever have. Your soul, that part of you that feels so restless, so unsettled, so desperate for peace, it can find rest, not in getting everything right, not in having enough money in the bank, not in having people understand you or appreciate you, but in God Himself. He is your rock when everything else feels like shifting sand beneath your feet. He is your salvation when you feel like you're drowning in circumstances you can't control. He is your fortress when the world feels unsafe and uncertain, when you don't know who to trust or where to turn. In Him, you cannot be shaken, even when everything around you is falling apart, even when your bank account is empty, your relationships are strained, your health is failing, your dreams seem impossible. The external circumstances may shake, but your soul remains anchored in something unshakable. Close your eyes and imagine yourself as a small child, completely exhausted from a long day, being carried by someone who loves you more than life itself. Feel the strength of those arms, the steady rhythm of that heartbeat, the complete safety of being held. You don't have to walk anymore. You don't have to figure out the next step. You don't have to be responsible for the outcome. You can simply rest in the knowledge that you are being carried by someone who knows exactly where you're going and exactly how to get you there. This is how God carries you. Beloved, this is how secure you are in Him. This is how deeply you are loved. The rain continues to fall, washing away your need to be in control, your need to have all the answers, your need to prove your worth. Let it wash over you like a baptism of peace, cleansing you from the lie that you have to earn God's love or deserve His care. You are already loved. You are already accepted. You are already enough. I remember the night everything changed for me. I had been praying for months about my financial situation, feeling like God had forgotten me, like everyone else was being blessed while I was being overlooked. I watched other people get promotions, receive unexpected checks, find new opportunities, while I struggled to make ends meet. I questioned whether I was doing something wrong, whether God was punishing me for some sin I couldn't identify, whether I simply wasn't worthy of His provision. The shame was almost worse than the financial stress itself. Then I had this dream. I was walking through a valley, and it was dark and scary, full of shadows that seemed to move and whisper threats about my future. But I wasn't alone. There was this presence with me, this gentle shepherd who walked with quiet confidence, who seemed to know exactly where we were going, even when I couldn't see the path. When I woke up, these words were on my lips like honey. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. Oh, sweet friend, do you hear that? You lack nothing, not because you have everything you want, not because your circumstances are perfect, not because you've figured out how to meet all your own needs. You lack nothing because you have everything you need in Him. He is your provider, not because He gives you everything you ask for, but because He gives you everything you need for the journey He has you on. He is your protector, not because He shields you from all difficulty, but because He walks with you through every valley, every shadow, every frightening place. He is your peace, not because He removes all chaos from your life, but because He is the calm center in the storm of your circumstances. When you feel like you're running on empty, when you've been pushing yourself too hard for too long, He makes you lie down in green pastures. Sometimes rest isn't a luxury you can afford. Sometimes rest is a necessity He provides. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is stop trying so hard and let Him care for you. When your spirit feels parched and weary, when you've been drinking from empty wells trying to satisfy the thirst in your soul, He leads you beside quiet waters right now. As you listen to these gentle rain sounds, let them represent those quiet waters. Let them wash over your worried mind, your anxious heart, your exhausted spirit. He is refreshing your soul. Beloved, he is restoring what has been depleted. He is filling what has been empty. He is watering the dry places in your life that you thought might never bloom again. You don't have to strive anymore tonight. You don't have to figure out how to make ends meet or how to fix what's broken. You don't have to be your own shepherd, your own provider, your own protector. Your shepherd has it all under control. He knows exactly what you need, exactly when you need it, exactly how to provide it. He sees the bigger picture when all you can see is the next step. He knows the end, from the beginning when you can barely see past. Tomorrow, rest in that truth. Let it cradle you like a lullaby. Let it remind you that you are not responsible for outcomes, only for obedience. Let it release you from the burden of being God in your own life. There's a secret I learned in that dream, something that has transformed not just my sleep, but my entire relationship with God and with life itself. In the dream, I kept trying to help the shepherd, trying to find the path myself, trying to protect myself from the dangers I could see coming. I would run ahead, trying to scout out the territory. I would lag behind, trying to avoid the difficult places. I would veer off to the side, thinking I saw a better way, an easier route. But every time I tried to take control, every time I tried to be my own guide, I would stumble and fall. I would get lost in the shadows, confused by the echoes, paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong choice. Finally, the shepherd stopped and looked at me with the most loving eyes I'd ever seen. There was no frustration in those eyes, no impatience, no disappointment, just infinite love and gentle correction. He didn't say much, just these simple words that changed everything. Be still and know that I am God. Be still. Stop striving. Stop trying to be your own savior. Stop believing the lie that your worth depends on your productivity, your bank account, your ability to keep everyone happy. Stop carrying burdens that are too heavy for you, burdens that were never meant for your shoulders. Stop trying to control outcomes that are beyond your control. Stop exhausting yourself trying to be God in your own life. And know, not just believe, but know deep in your bones, in your spirit, in the core of your being, that He is God. He is the one who spoke the universe into existence with just His words. He is the one who holds every star in place, who commands the seasons, who sets the boundaries for the ocean. He is the one who knows the number of hairs on your head and the deepest desires of your heart. He is the one who has been orchestrating your story from before you were born, who knows every chapter, every plot twist, every seemingly impossible situation. This isn't about being passive or lazy. This isn't about sitting back and doing nothing while you wait for God to drop blessings from heaven. This is about recognizing that some things are too big for you to handle, and that's exactly why you need a God who is bigger than your problems, bigger than your fears, bigger than your limitations. This is about learning to move from a place of rest rather than a place of striving. This is about discovering that you can work hard without working anxiously, that you can be responsible without being controlling, that you can care deeply without carrying the weight of the world. Tonight, as you lie here in the darkness, surrounded by the gentle sound of rain, practice being still. Let your thoughts slow down like a river finding its natural pace. Let your racing heart find its rhythm in the steady beat of His love. Let your clenched fists unfold like flowers opening to the sun. Let your tight shoulders release the tension they've been holding. He's got this. Beloved, He's got you. He's got your tomorrow, your next week, your next year. He's got your finances, your relationships, your health, your dreams. He's got the things you can see and the things you can't. He's got the prayers you've prayed and the ones you haven't yet found words for. You can rest now. You can be still. You can know that He is God. The rain in my dream began to fall more steadily, and I realized it wasn't just water cascading from the sky. It was provision falling like manna from heaven. It was blessing poured out without measure. It was God's abundance washing over the dry places in my life, bringing life to what felt dead and hopeless. Each drop contained exactly what I needed for that moment: strength for the weary places, hope for the discouraged places, peace for the anxious places, provision for the empty places. I lifted my eyes to the hills around me, no longer looking for dangers but for the source of this incredible gift. And I heard these words: I lift up my eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. Where have you been looking for help, sweet friend? Have you been scanning the horizon of human resources, hoping someone will rescue you from your circumstances? Have you been measuring your worth by your ability to rescue yourself, to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, to figure it out on your own? Have you been feeling ashamed because you need help at all, because you can't seem to get it together, like everyone else appears to have? Have you been placing your hope in political leaders, in market trends, in other people's opinions of you? Have you been waiting for your circumstances to change before you can have peace? Have you been looking for security in your job, your savings account, your insurance policies, your emergency plans? All of these things have their place, but they are not your source. They are not your foundation. They are not your hope. Lift your eyes higher. Your help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. The one who created mountains can certainly handle your mountains of debt, your mountains of fear, your mountains of impossibility. The one who set the stars in their courses can certainly direct your path through the confusion and uncertainty of your circumstances. The one who speaks to storms, and they obey, can certainly calm the chaos in your life, the chaos in your mind, the chaos in your heart. The one who causes the rain to fall on the just and the unjust alike can certainly provide for your needs, whether you feel worthy of His provision or not. This isn't about waiting passively for a miracle while you do nothing. This isn't about spiritual bypassing or denying the reality of your struggles. This is about recognizing that your ultimate security, your deepest peace, your truest provision comes from God Himself. He might use people to help you, opportunities to open doors, unexpected blessings to meet your needs, but the source is always Him. The foundation is always Him. The hope is always Him. As you listen to this rain, imagine each drop as a specific provision for your life. This drop is peace for your anxious thoughts. This drop is strength for tomorrow's challenges. This drop is wisdom for the decisions you need to make. This drop is favor for the opportunities that are coming. This drop is healing for the wounds you carry. This drop is restoration for the relationships that have been damaged. This drop is breakthrough for the situations that seem impossible, not just material blessings, though He cares about those too, but peace that passes, understanding, hope that doesn't disappoint, strength that is made perfect in weakness, wisdom that comes from above, love that casts out fear, joy that is unspeakable and full of glory. Everything you need for tomorrow is already being prepared for you tonight. Every provision is already in motion. Every answer is already on its way. Every blessing is already being poured out. You don't have to see it to believe it. You Don't have to understand it to receive it. You just have to rest in the truth that your help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. In the deepest part of my dream, I found myself in a place of complete vulnerability. All my masks were gone, all my pretenses stripped away, all my carefully constructed walls had crumbled, all my defenses had been lowered. I was just me, raw, honest, imperfect, broken me. The me that struggles with doubt and fear. The me that makes mistakes and poor choices. The me that sometimes feels angry at God for allowing difficult things to happen. The me that doesn't always have faith, doesn't always trust, doesn't always believe. And I was terrified. Terrified that even God would reject me when he saw who I really was underneath all the spiritual performance. Terrified that his love was conditional on my ability to be good enough, strong enough, faithful enough. Terrified that I had somehow disqualified myself from his care by being so human, so flawed, so inconsistent. But then I heard the most beautiful words, spoken not with disappointment or disgust, but with such tenderness that they broke my heart wide open. You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Oh, beloved, do you understand what this means? He knows you, not the version of you that you present to the world, the polished version that you hope will be acceptable, not the version you wish you could be, the version you're working toward becoming, but the real you, the you that exists, in the privacy of your own thoughts, the you that struggles with secret fears and hidden shames, the you that sometimes feels like a fraud, like you're fooling everyone, including yourself. He knows your thoughts before you think them. He knows the words you're going to say before they leave your lips. He knows your fears before you feel them. He knows your needs before you voice them. He knows your dreams before you dare to dream them. He knows your failures before you fail. He knows your doubts before you doubt. He knows your questions before you ask them. And knowing all of this, every failure, every weakness, every time you've fallen short, every time you've disappointed yourself and others, he still chose you. He still loves you. He still calls you his beloved child. He still has plans for your life that are good and hopeful and beautiful. You don't have to hide from him. You don't have to perform for him. You don't have to earn his love or prove your worth. You don't have to clean up your act before you come to him. You don't have to have it all together before you're worthy of his attention. You don't have to be perfect before you can receive his blessing. You are already known, already accepted, already treasured, not because you're perfect, but because he is. Not because you've earned it, but because he has given it freely. Not because you deserve it, but because he has chosen to love you anyway. This changes everything about how you can rest tonight. You're not lying here as a stranger hoping for mercy. You're not lying here as a defendant hoping for acquittal. You're not lying here as a beggar hoping for scraps. You're lying here as a beloved child, known and loved beyond measure, safe in the arms of the one who created you for such a time as this. The rain falls on you, not as judgment, but as blessing, not as condemnation, but as cleansing, not as punishment, but as provision, because you are known, and you are loved, and you are his. As my dream reached its climax, I realized that all my anxiety about money, about success, about what others thought of me, about whether I was making the right choices, none of it mattered in the presence of perfect love. The shepherd had been providing for me all along, in ways I couldn't see, in ways I hadn't recognized, in ways I had taken for granted. Every breath I had taken was a gift. Every morning I had awakened was a blessing. Every problem I had survived was evidence of his faithfulness. Every closed door had protected me from something harmful. Every unanswered prayer had been answered with something better. Every delay had been divine timing. Every struggle had been building strength. Every loss had been making room for something greater. I had been looking for his provision in the wrong places, expecting it to come in the wrong forms, timing it according to my own schedule instead of his perfect plan. And then came the promise that changed everything. The promise that has transformed my relationship with sleep, with rest, with trust itself. In peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. In peace, not in worry about tomorrow's deadlines, not in fear about next month's bills, not in regret about yesterday's mistakes, not in anxiety about next year's unknowns. In peace. This isn't just the absence of conflict or stress. This isn't just the quiet that comes when the external noise stops. This is the presence of God's perfect calm settling over your heart like a warm blanket on a cold night. This is the deep knowing that you are held, that you are safe, that you are loved regardless of what tomorrow brings. This is the peace that passes understanding, that doesn't make sense to the logical mind but satisfies the deepest longings of the soul. You can sleep in peace tonight because you are safe, not because your circumstances are perfect, not because all your problems are solved, not because you have enough money in the bank or enough security in your relationships. You can sleep in peace because you are held by the one who never sleeps, never slumbers, never stops watching over you. The one who sees every tear you shed and catches each one in his bottle. The one who knows every prayer you pray and treasures each one in his heart. The one who counts every hair on your head and numbers every day of your life. The one who has written your name on the palm of his hand and carries you always in his thoughts. He alone makes you dwell in safety. Not your security system, not your savings account, not your insurance policies, not your emergency plans, not your ability to control outcomes or manage people or predict the future. Him alone, and he is more than enough. He is enough when your bank account is empty. He is enough when your relationships are strained. He is enough when your health is failing. He is enough when your dreams seem impossible. He is enough when you feel like you're failing at everything. He is enough when you don't feel like enough. As you feel your body growing heavier, your breathing deeper, your thoughts slower, remember this truth. You are not just falling asleep. You are falling into the arms of perfect love. You are being held by the one who loves you more than you can imagine, who has plans for you that are better than you can dream, who is working all things together for your good. Even this moment, even this struggle, even this season of difficulty is being woven into a tapestry of blessing that you cannot yet see. But you don't have to see it to rest in it. You don't have to understand it to benefit from it. You just have to trust that he is good, that he is faithful, that he is enough. The final image from my dream was the most beautiful of all. I was no longer walking through the valley, no longer struggling to find my way, no longer trying to help the shepherd or protect myself. I was resting in a secret place, a hidden shelter, where no storm could reach me, no enemy could find me, no fear could touch me. It was a place of perfect peace, perfect safety, perfect love, a place where I could finally, completely, utterly rest. Not because I had earned it, not because I had figured everything out, not because I had become perfect, but because I had been invited in, welcomed home, embraced by grace. And I understood these words in a way I never had before, felt them in my bones, knew them in my spirit. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. This is where you are tonight, beloved, not just physically in your bed, surrounded by pillows and blankets, but spiritually in the shelter of the Most High, the secret place where His presence dwells. You are resting in the shadow of the Almighty, where it's cool and safe and peaceful, where the harsh sun of life's difficulties cannot burn you, where the storms of circumstance cannot reach you, where the voices of condemnation cannot accuse you, where the fears of tomorrow cannot torment you. He is your refuge when the world feels overwhelming, when the news is frightening, when the future seems uncertain. He is your fortress when you feel under attack, when people misunderstand you, when you're facing opposition. He is your God, worthy of your complete trust even when you can't see how things will work out, even when the path ahead is unclear, even when you don't understand His ways. The rain you're hearing isn't just water falling from the sky. It's the sound of heaven's blessings being poured out over your life. It's the sound of God's provision, His protection, His peace washing over you like a gentle tide. It's the sound of grace falling like rain on the just and the unjust alike. It's the sound of love that never fails, hope that never disappoints, peace that never leaves. Each drop is a promise. Each drop is a blessing. Each drop is a reminder that you are not forgotten, not overlooked, not abandoned. You are cherished, treasured, beloved. You are chosen, called, equipped for everything He has prepared for you. You are strong enough for tomorrow's challenges because His strength is made perfect in your weakness. You are wise enough for tomorrow's decisions because His wisdom is available to you. You are loved enough for tomorrow's relationships because His love flows through you. You are provided for tomorrow's needs because His supply is unlimited. You don't have to be strong anymore tonight. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to carry tomorrow's worries. You don't have to figure out how everything will work out. You can simply rest here in this secret place, in this shelter of perfect love. You can rest knowing that the same God who spoke to me in a dream is speaking to you right now through these very words. He is whispering over you tonight, singing over you, rejoicing over you with gladness. He is covering you with His feathers, sheltering you under His wings. He is surrounding you with His favor like a shield. He is going before you to prepare the way, walking beside you to provide companionship, standing behind you to protect your back. You are completely, utterly, perfectly safe in His love. Rest now, beloved. Rest in Him. Rest in love. Rest in love. Rest in peace, sweet child of God. As you drift into sleep, know that you are not the same person who lay down tonight. The God who spoke to me in a dream is the same God who is speaking to you right now. He sees your needs before you voice them. He knows your dreams before you dream them. He is already preparing answers to prayers you haven't even prayed yet. He is already opening doors you haven't even seen yet. He is already providing for needs you haven't even identified yet. He is already working all things together for your good. Sleep now in the certainty that you are loved with an everlasting love. Sleep in the confidence that you are provided for with unlimited resources. Sleep in the peace that you are safe in the arms of perfect love. Sleep in the hope that tomorrow holds blessings you cannot yet imagine. The rain will continue to fall, washing away your worries, watering the seeds of hope that have been planted in your heart tonight. And when you wake, you will wake different. You will wake refreshed. You will wake renewed. You will wake ready to receive all that God has prepared for you. Rest now. Amen.